Salute, salute, salute. Please make sure you smash that like button as you enter the building. Y'all know who it is. It is me, unapologetically QI, entering right back at you again. For those of y'all who support me, who've come from other areas or of YouTube, I'm going to delete that last live stream. I apologize. Sometimes y'all know this is the environment of YouTube. But peace to everybody. Salute my homegirl up in the building. Okay, and I'm coming to you with some news updates, which is a banger. Okay, y'all see the title. Uh, the woman who accused Jay Z and Diddy of violating her when she was like 13 years old is now like taking steps to get the lawsuit that Jay Z filed against her and Buzbee dismissed. Basically, um, her that we refer to her as Jane Doe, and she first filed the suit stating that he violated her. A couple. Well, we're gonna say a couple of years ago. Well, she filed some new documents Tuesday to dismiss the defamation suit from Jay Z, the music mogul. She lives in Alabama. She's from Alabama, and she was trying. I guess she was trying to get into the industry. But in the new legal documents obtained by TMZ, the woman claims Jay Z can't sue her over the claims because she made them in court documents and are therefore privileged, adding that the interview that she did on NBC was based on her claims in the court documents. Now y'all know how I like to refer to media. So like we're blaming this on TMZ. That's why like I come straight off the top. I straight come straight from their information because they're my source for today. And I prefer to do that because like it keeps me from being sued for saying something that like isn't true. So if anything isn't true, then it came from TMZ. So I'm citing my source right now. But as reported, the woman claimed Jay and Diddy uh, violated her back in the 2000s. She ultimately dropped the lawsuit, and Jay Z then proceeded with a defamation suit towards her and Buzbee. Now, I'm going to go into something else that I also heard. And she also wants this lawsuit dismissed with prejudice, meaning that it can't be filed again. Buzbee previously filed a motion to get Jay-Z's lawsuit against him dismissed, claiming they struck a deal and Jay reneged. So Buzbee is basically saying that Jay-Z and him struck a deal, and that's why the case was dismissed. But he has not fulfilled his promises. And, truth be told, y'all, I sort of figured that. Because Jane Doe, the accuser, also, I don't know if this was an interview or if an interview, but she stated that the only reason she did that is because they were applying pressure to her and that she was scared. Now, y'all know, like, a lot of times when it comes down to like people being violated, whether it be as a child or whatever, that never goes away. That's some trauma that can last you a lifetime. And people and people who've gone through that generally fear their attackers. And so when I heard that the lawsuit had been dropped, I figured that it was because, Jay-Z is rich. He has reach, right? And he can apply pressure, just like we see Shannon Sharp is doing now with his accuser. And Shannon Sharp has two accusers, right? All right. So basically, I figured that some pressure had been applied. She got afraid, and and um, and Buzbee is the type of attorney that I've heard about, so like that handles celebrity cases like this. And a lot of times they state that they they actually do it to give the celebrities a chance, right? So they'll bring it to. That's why they do the civil suits first, right? So they bring it to the celebrities' attention so that they would have an option to, be able to handle it up front. So basically, what Busby is saying is that Jay Z, like under the table, none announced, without any publicity, struck a deal with them, and that's why the lawsuit was actually dropped. But he has not fulfilled the agreements of his deal. And an allegation of HOV's camp previously previously told us was bogus. So basically, that is how potentially Jay-Z got them to drop the lawsuit. Not that it was enough evidence or not enough evidence, or anything of that nature. He basically struck a deal behind the scenes. He didn't want it to come public. They're trying to save their image. And so everybody's thinking that, he did what Shannon Sharp done. And what Shannon Sharp is doing right now is actually going against him. He really should have handled that either privately or in court. But in her motion, the woman makes a similar claim about dismissing her lawsuit per the alleged agreement. And so TMZ has been reaching out to Jay-Z to get, his take or his side. And, so far they haven't heard a word back. But I figured that, if I was a celebrity, I would try to do it the way that Jay-Z done it as well. However, you cannot renege. You cannot renege. You have to follow through, because if you don't, it's like it got out there. It got out there. So Jay-Z looked good. But if they fall back on the suit, and it seems like that they're going to fall back on refile or reclaim the suit, then, that's not good. That means they actually are going to have to go to court. So that's the like Jay-Z news. And it's important because, we're talking about the Shannon Sharp, and the reason Shannon Sharp is doing what he's doing. And a lot of people are talking about Buzbee because of that Jay-Z ordeal. However, Shannon Sharp and a lot of us were misinformed. We didn't know that there was a deal struck in the back. So moving on to further news, there has been some Diddy updates. All right, so Diddy is trying to get, okay, we all know that Cassie is going to be like a prime witness, a main witness, right? And we all know that they're going to use the video from the hotel that we all saw, during the trial in front of the jurors. So basically, Diddy is trying to get the court to dismiss that evidence and not show that video, because he already knows like how damaging that video would be to his case. Now, that's not the only evidence, but I can clearly see what direction that him and his legal team are going in. But he's basically saying that, and this is crazy, y'all. This is very, very crazy. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard. But he's basically saying that that video was a production of AI. It's not the official video. He's requesting the official video, the long length of the video. He's saying that the mega data does not add up, and he's saying that that they're gonna have to prove the validity of the validity, my bad, of the video. that it was the actual video and it wasn't altered. Now, the video was put out by CNN, and CNN has already made a claim or a statement stating that they did not alter the video. But um, Diddy is like saying that they did. Um, However, they do have that video along with some iPhone video footage. Um, Diddy is saying that he wants the longer version of the video so that people can see what led up to it. But come on, guys, now, come on, guys, nothing can lead up to her standing at the elevator, and we clearly seeing him put his foot and his hands on her. I don't know how showing what led up to that would make that situation better. I mean, but that's like one of his strategies to get that video thrown out. Even although she's still going to be a witness, and um, they can't charge him for that anymore because that has already been settled. But she was subpoenaed to the court to stand as witness to point out patterns of his behavior. All right, as well, I've looked at his legal team. Y'all know I have been talking about in the last couple of videos his legal team. And y'all remember Brian Steele from YSL's case, the one that got some of the evidence thrown out of YSL's case. He was a great attorney. Now he was a force to be reckoned with in that YSL case. I think a lot of people enjoyed that. That was like the most entertaining case, if you watched it, that I've ever seen. And I watched, quite a few cases. I'm saying case of that magnitude. However, he has joined Diddy's legal team. Here's the thing, though. He used to be registered with the bar in New York, and he no longer is. He's only registered with the bar in Georgia. But because the main attorney is registered to the bar in New York, that main attorney, which is Mark. I'm gonna say Mark Garrick or something like that. I had the name down pack. I knew I was gonna mess it up. But so he said Garrick, Mark is gonna vouch for him. There are two Mark attorneys, however, on the case. Let me go ahead and make sure that I give y'all the appropriate names in a minute. But his legal team sucks. The best part of his legal team is Brian Steele, because we know that Brian Steele is basically going to, if he gets things thrown out, it's not going to be based on something crazy like AI or artificial intelligence. It's going to be based on like technicalities and whether they followed procedures with the warrants and different things of that nature, like he did with the YSL case. So, I mean, he has a chance. But see, all of his attorneys are new as well. Because there's Teeny and there's Mark, and that's father and daughter. That's a father and daughter team. And then there's another Mark, Anafilo. And basically, Mark G, the attorney Mark G, he hasn't won a case. He took on cases, a bunch of high profile cases, and he has not won any of them. He even had Biden. He's Hunter Biden's old attorney as well, but he has not won one of his cases. So he's not a great attorney, and he's the main attorney, which means that Brian Steele is going to have to take his lead from Mark G. So it's going to be very interesting how it works out. Now, Diddy had several attorneys before this team, and they all quit. They didn't really go too deeply into details of why they quit, but they quit. So Diddy has had a hard time even getting attorneys to stick. And a lot of people are talking about, will this mess up Brian Steele's reputation? Because Brian still has a great reputation right now. However, if he takes on this case, especially with it being short term, because Diddy, we know that Diddy was asking for more time, so that his attorneys, can catch up to speed. However, the judge denied it because the judge is like, uh, Diddy asked for a speedy trial. So they're barking upon that time frame of not being within that speedy uh, trial time frame. So the judge was like, "You asked for it, and I got to give it to you," because that's another technicality that can be used against the court or the state of New York. So this trial is going to definitely be interesting, and just based on like a lot of the things I've seen, Diddy is panicking. Um, with his legal team and a lot of different things. He's panicking right now, and with trying to get this video kicked out, he's really panicking right now. And he also had the attorneys read to his family the family will, which was weird. That was really weird to me. Like, because they stated that one of his sons passed out when he heard when the will was read. So like Diddy is doing a lot of things as he's making a lot of preparations, as though like he's very nervous about this, as though he almost feels like he can't beat it. Now we have like 2 weeks before this trial is set for like May the 5th. Now there are not going to be any cameras on there, but there are certain channels that will basically give us updates, as well as like there are some places, some media sources, and some places on YouTube, and from now and then, every now and then, the court does it. They will keep us updated with like some of the things that occur in court. And of course, I don't know how long jury process is going to go, but they're asking, one of the main questions that they asked their jurors was, could they sit down and watch these videos, because they're going to show them all of the footage from Diddy's home, from the surveillance, from the freak outs. And so like people have to be, they're going to ask, one of the questions that they're going to ask, uh, or make sure of, is that the jurors can actually sit down and watch this type of stuff. Because keep in mind, not everybody can, because if people have been through like those type of traumatizing situations, abuse, etc., themselves, it may be hard for them to watch, and it might trigger uh, PTSD or some past experiences. So that's going to be interesting. Also, Diddy wants one more person added to the team. However, at this point, they're having a hard time. They already have a white woman and they have two men. He did not want an all white male a legal team. Um, he wanted a black woman. Well, he has the white woman, but he also is in search of a black female attorney. So it appears that Diddy is trying to be as strategic as possible when it comes down to trying to fight this case. I'm telling you, it's gonna be interesting. I wish we could have cameras in there, because we know that YSL's um, trial was very interesting, and I'm sure this one will be as well. There are going to be a lot of witnesses. I don't know if it's rumored or not, but allegedly, Usher is supposed to be a witness. I know people are talking about that as rumored, that Usher is a witness, and I also saw where they're subpoenaing a lot of the high profile guests of those freak offs to the trial. So it's gonna be very, very interesting, very, very interesting, and people are also speculating that some of these people might end up in court cases themselves, because a lot of information is going to come out, and I guess it's going to have to be addressed, but it's also up to the victims to file claims. So like we have 2 weeks to get ready for that, and I plan on trying to stay as up to date as possible. It's going to be a little hard with the cameras not being in court. But I'm going to try to do my due diligence to do the research, as well as to do the research and stuff to come on and try to provide as much updated information as possible. But I am very interested in the proceedings, and we don't know how long jury selection going to take. The first step is always jury selection, and with high profile cases like this, with special conditions and situations like this, it generally takes a while. So, the trial may not actually start for a couple of months. Hopefully, it's not the situation. Hopefully, they can get 12 jurors very fast. They're going to, because it's going to take, getting the right type of jury for this case, for P. Diddy to win, for Diddy to win. But I just wanted to come on and give those updates, and update with the Jay-Z situation, because I don't see many people talking about it as of now. And I saw that, and it ties very much into the Shannon Sharpe situation and what he has going on. Because like I stated, like a lot of what he's doing is based on the fact that, Buzbee has this reputation because of Jay-Z. And a lot of people are also speculating that, Buzbee is either doing this, he might be getting paid two ways or under the table, right? But it's like to discredit like a lot of the witnesses, because with that situation with Jay-Z, it did sort of give a discrediting, like a lot of people were clout chasing, money chasing, or whatever. And that is the picture that Shannon Sharpe is trying to paint, that it's like a money situation, a money grab. However, Stephen A. Smith came on, and Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe basically are partners. They work together. They collab with a lot of different projects, right? And they both work for ESPN, which is owned by Disney. Now, here's the thing with this type of allegations towards Shannon, he very well may lose his job. And let me tell you, like, ESPN reported on the situation, and they did it unbiasedly. They said they were researching and looking into the situation, because with their parent company being Disney, and with that being a service for children, and all the rumors surrounded by Disney, they can't afford that. So they can't afford it, and at this point, just with the allegations alone, and especially if he's found to be guilty, Disney just can't, that's a liability. Disney just can't afford it. So it's rumors that he may lose his job. So we're gonna look out for that as well. And I wish his attorney would tell him to stop coming out here speaking. And I think that's one of the problems that Disney had, because, Shannon came out here and produced the text message. Shannon came out here. He was trying to bluff Buzbee. And although, I get it. He should have bluffed him behind the scenes. But coming out here with that information, and then she was known as Jane Doe as well. She was anonymous as well. Coming out here and producing her name is not going to fare well if it had to go to court. So, he definitely needs better legal experience. And then there was an audio that was dropped where we could hear him say that he was going to choke her. And we also heard her say that she did not want to be choked. And you can say yes 99 times, but that one no matters. And that's whether you're married or not. So once again, I appreciate everybody for coming and give me a listening ear. Appreciate everybody who supports me. Y'all make sure y'all smash that like, please, to get me into the appropriate algorithm so that I can grow. Subscribe if you haven't. And if you're a content creator, by all means, please leave, just let me know in the comment section. Because I believe in cross supporting. If you support me, I'm definitely going to support you. Because it takes a teamwork to make the dream work. It's a business. These are business negotiations. These are business deals. And business should never be one-sided. business meets each other in the middle. But until next time, peace, love, and hair grease, food, water, shelter, and clothing, and all that good stuff. And that I am now exiting the building. Peace.